Hey, how's it going, guys? So today we're going to be installing a JDM Footwell light kit. This is an OEM part that whenever you unlock your door or turn on the map light, I think, the actually Footwell will light up with either red or green. Obviously I'm going to go with red, but should be a super quick and easy install, and let's just jump right into it. So included with this kit is everything that you need. It comes with a whole bunch of zip ties, it comes with some double-sided tape to hold on the light covers, a complete instruction guide. It is in Japanese, but it's super easy install. So it actually comes with green and red rubber caps, and you can put those on the bulbs that will change the color for green and red. As for the wiring process, it's super easy. You just have to take apart some of your trim, and then you actually just will have these crimp things that you'd crimp onto two of the existing wires, and that's it. And then all you have to do is wrap it under the dash. The first step is to simply disconnect your battery terminal. Super easy, just simply grab your little nut thing and undo it. So we're down here in the driver footwell. What you're gonna wanna do is take this pin off, take that out, take this whole rocker guard out, foot guard. So once you have that panel off, you're actually gonna wanna feed the harness, I believe through this hole right here. And then I'll show you on the other side, take the same panel off, and we're to actually stick the light. You're simply just gonna wanna pop this off, take that out, and then this panel should come off just like that. So the harness is split in a couple of parts. You have the kind of the wiring part right here with the yellow and blue wire that will go up to your gauge cluster. You have this longer end right here. So you see this section's pretty big. This is gonna get fed through right there, and then we can go on the other side and grab it from there. So once the wire's fed through, we're gonna go grab the cover and the double-sided tape, and then we're gonna stick it up right up here. As for assembling the light, all you're gonna wanna do, slip your little red light cover on there. Seems like kind of like a tight fit, but get that on there. Then you're gonna have these two clear plastic pieces, just like that. We'll put the double-sided tape, put the light in the hole, and then we should be able to stick it up onto the dash. It sticks up to the dash right under the evap box, somewhere around here. It's not super important where it goes. Just make sure you tuck your wires really well, which I'll show you here in a second. You also have these giant padded pieces of tape, which you'll use right under here. You'll use it to actually tape this wire up to the evap box right here. So I have it zip tied right here, back here on this harness section, and then one on this section. So after you have it zip tied, what you're gonna wanna do is to trim it, and then this side is actually all good with the passenger side. Actually all done with this side now. So we attached the light to the evap system, we zip tied the harness to the existing harness, and tucked the wire. Put this foot panel back on. Now it's time to get onto the driver's side. Okay, now we're on to the driver's side mount right here. So what we do is put the smaller double-sided piece of tape on the flat side without the ridge right here. And then we have this large yellow zip tie. And what you're gonna wanna do is to measure 30 millimeters on this side with the little knot part. That way the zip tie can be flat as possible when we put the light fixture in there. And this will actually go up onto the driver column on a certain part, and all of us will show you where that goes. As you can see, I have the mount right there connected with the zip tie and the double-sided tape. Now what you're gonna wanna do, put the red sleeve on the light bulb and put the light bulb right on the mount. Once you have that on there just like that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down with this harness. We're actually going to use that large piece of cloth tape and tape it down onto this heater duct right up at the top. And then after that, we're gonna have a lot of this excess wire. We're gonna crimple it up, zip tie it, and then we're gonna tuck it, and then we'll move up to the actual gauge cluster part. Alrighty, now it's time to actually get the gauge cluster off. All it is these two screws right here and a couple of pins to actually pop the gauge cluster bezel off, and then there'll be 3 screws holding the gauge cluster in. So yeah, once you pop that thing off, you're gonna have this screw down here, that screw down there, and then one more up the top, and then the gauge cluster will come out, and then the only thing connecting it will actually be a wiring harness, which is just a couple pins you have to undo, and you can pull it out. So yeah, now it's actually time to remove the gauge cluster once you have those screws out. Just make sure right here you're pretty careful Make sure you don't actually scratch that bit because it is very easily scratched. We're gonna have this. Then as you can see up top, you have a pin right here you're gonna wanna undo. Simply undo that. And then 2 more over here on the left, which are exactly the same. So undo those. There we go. And now your gauge cluster is free. The best way to do it is to simply bring it out from the side. So now your gauge cluster's out. We're gonna have a lot of clear space to actually see down below. Bring that wire harness up from under, and then we can connect it to this harness right here. Okay, so I have the harness guided up. You simply put it over the steering column and you just kind of feed it up there. It's kind of hard to do on camera and everything, but it is up here. As you can see, that right over here is the actual gauge cluster harness. So I think I figured out which ones it is. So it's this one right here, this blue and red one, and then it's this yellow and red one down here. So we're gonna just crimp it onto these ones. I'm gonna double check. I'm actually gonna check the Japanese guide and everything like that. So I don't want to just crimp it onto some random ones and mess up my car. But it seems like these are the right ones. They color match also. And to also confirm that I'm doing the right ones, if we look at the connector, so it is this one over here and it is that one right there. So yeah, should be it. So I have it connected right here. Simply crimp those on there with a pair of pliers. Now it's time to wrap it this in cloth tape and then zip tie this harness to this harness, and then we should be able to put everything back together and test it. So all I did was connected the battery back together, and I also put the harness back into the gauge cluster. And I think the way that this works is whenever your dome light is on, so whenever that light is on up there, so simply when I close the door, this should actually fade away. So in terms of actually seeing how bright it is or anything like that, I can't really show you right now. I probably will cut in some clips of it at night when I open the door. I'm sure it's gonna look really cool. So yeah, and then after you get everything working, all you're gonna wanna do is just put back together your gauge cluster and just kind of clean up any of the wires you have laying around or anything like that. Really weird kind of crawling in and under the dash right there. But other than that, super simple, and it's a really good OEM part. So yeah, that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you guys liked it. I personally like it. I think it's a really cool part when you open the door at night and the footwell is all lit up red. And that's about it. So if you guys haven't already, throw a comment down below, drop a like, and subscribe if you haven't. Later, guys.